I'm Robert Marshall, a former infantry officer in the United States Army and founder of Dapper Guru. I hand make all natural grooming products, and I know a thing or two about shaving because I used to have to do it every day. Growing up, I thought I was going to be a lawyer. I really like to deep dive into research and I can be argumentative. But 2 weeks into my freshman year of college, September 11th happened. Not long after, my history class just happened to let out early. I went to the student center where I saw a friend who was in ROTC and we started talking. The next day, I was signed up. I went to basic training, and instead of coming back to school, I was deployed to Iraq for a year. When I did come back, everything felt different. It was hard to transition back into college life after seeing war. Everything seemed so frivolous. While I was in school, I trained to become an infantry officer and did another tour in Iraq. When I returned the second time, the transition to civilian life was even harder. Childhood trauma, military trauma, it all hit me at once. I didn't know at the time, but now I know I had PTSD. I had to find a way to not just cope, but a new way of life. I left Texas, where I was based, and returned to my hometown in Washington, D.C. to try to reset, and that's where I started my business, Dapper Guru. So obviously I'm bald, and I started going bald in Iraq. And when you're in a war zone, there aren't a lot of good products, so I would often cut my head or my face when I shaved. Now that I was home, I wanted to find a solution, so I dove into researching how to make soap in my kitchen. I started experimenting with ingredients and fragrances. Then, when the pandemic happened, like a lot of people, I thought to myself, why am I living here? I've always wanted to move out west, and I love being in nature. So again, I started researching and landed on Montana. I didn't know anything about it except it's mountainous, cold, and nobody lives here. Which is all true, but I like it because it's isolated. I can fly fish, my workshop is less than a mile from my apartment, and I can walk there every day, which I do because another part of my PTSD is that I can't drive. My products are for both men and women, but for men, you sort of have to pitch it to them as a tool. If you don't have the right products, you can get ingrowns, dandruff, and dryness. I think in our society, we're always judged by how we look. I'm not saying you need to transition yourself to fit the ideal, but using the right products can make you feel good as a person because you're taking care of yourself. Skin is the biggest organ on your body, and our first line of defense against anything trying to get in. During COVID, what was the number one thing people were saying? Wash your hands with soap. I love what I'm doing. Making things with my hands helps me with mindfulness and is very therapeutic. I wake up every day and have something to look forward to. My new mission isn't about making soap. It's helping me find meaning in everyday life. Dapper Guru products now available on the Sune App. Download it today.